I'm Danny, that witch next door, and you're listening to That Witch Podcast. Hello, neighbor. Welcome to another episode of That Witch Podcast. If you've never been here before, hi, I'm Danny. I'm that witch next door. I'm going to be your host, your guide, your mentor, and instructor in all things magic, witchcraft, astrology, and witchy business. And if you have been here before, hello and welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here again. I am very excited about today's episode. I was really excited when I thought of it, and I had even more fun preparing for it. So I'm already having a blast recording it for all of you. But as you saw in the show title, what I want to talk about today is witchy business, bringing magic into the office. I titled today's episode a certain way for a reason. I want you to know first and foremost that this episode is for everyone, business owners, and anyone other, not a business. You don't have to own your own business. And if you do, this is also going to be really helpful. I promise that everyone can benefit from this episode, because all of us, to live in this world, we got to make money and pay to live in it, which don't get me started on how crazy that is. That we all, has anybody else seen that TikTok? That's like, it's psycho that we have to pay money to live on planet Earth. But I digress. I am really excited, though, to talk to you about how to bring more magic into your profession. So your profession might have nothing to do with an office. It might very much be in an office. You could be listening to me right now, sitting at a desk with headphones in your cubicle and be really amidst that office energy. Your job or your profession or your livelihood and the way that you make money and survive might have absolutely nothing to do with anything related to traditional work or professionalism. Doesn't matter. This episode's for you. I promise. Because like I said, if we all got to pay to live here, which is not so, I think that we should be bringing as much magic into our entire lives, because magic to me is alignment and authenticity. Okay. It's that sacred alignment with your higher self and your higher path, and unapologetically choosing it and embodying it. And this to me is the path of witchcraft and the path of magic. And you can't just leave out the boring parts and not put any magic in them, because that could be the key all along to really leveling up your manifestation, really leveling up your alignment, is specifically bringing magic and sacredness into the areas of your life that it seems like it doesn't fit the most. Oftentimes this means it's calling for it or needing it the most. There's such a lack of it there, okay? So, like I said, I don't care where you work. I don't care how you work. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you work with or not, or who you work for or not, any of that. This episode is for you. You can get a lot of benefit out of it. So this is a good one to save or bookmark, or if you can do that, or download it right on the app that you're using. I don't know the app you're using, but if you have a way to save it or something, you might want to do that with this episode. And you might want to take notes if you're able to with this one. So first and foremost, business owner or not, like I said, professional magic is abundance and prosperity magic. So many of us get into witchcraft either for abundance work, right? Like we want to do money spells and success spells. All super valid, by the way, because again, we're forced to pay to live on planet Earth. So yeah, it's okay to like money. It's okay to want to make money. It's okay to practice abundance and money magic. I actually find a lot of people feel really, really selfish and bad right off the bat, even and it's why so many people don't really practice money magic when all of us really should, because true, authentic, sacred magic is healing, you guys. So let's heal that money trauma. Let's heal those money wounds, okay? Let's heal that work trauma. Let's heal those professional wounds that you have. Okay. So know that when you bring and I'm going to just say bring magic into the office, but I mean like whatever the office is for you in an endearing way. Okay. It's just for shorthand reference. So it's totally okay if you don't work in an office. I work on my couch most of the time and not in an office. So I don't work in one either. But I have worked in many offices though, and I very much relate to all of you that work at a desk out there. So, and again, you need magic. I promise you, you need magic. So I want you to go into this episode with an open mind to abundance and prosperity magic. First of all, we're not even really going to talk about money magic the rest of our time, actually. But I want you to start opening up your heart to that, because I promise you that as you bring more and more sacredness into your profession, that is abundance work. That is prosperity and money magic right there. So don't close yourself off to it. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into some of the ways, right? How can you do this? Well, what's the first easiest one that comes to all of our minds? At least for me, it was plants and flowers. Plants and flowers, very accessible, very easy. Many places of work are totally open to this, and it's totally an okay place. However, there are tons and tons of places where you're like, yeah, not possible, Danny. I can't have plants where I work. Or maybe we work in a communal space. You could work in a warehouse. You could work on the road. Like there's a ton of reasons. So there are lots of ways to incorporate plant and flower magic without having a live plant. If you can, that is just right off the bat a really easy way to bring in some color and oxygen and really wonderful earth grounding vibes. But if you can't bring in a fresh growing live plant, can you bring in a satchel, like a little, or a sachet? Some people call it a sachet. Some people call it a sachet, or a little pouch of dried plants, herbs, or flowers. Bonus if you can throw a little crystal point in there as well. But that, my friend, is green witchcraft right there. Just put some herbs or dried plants and flowers in a bag. Put a crystal in it, speak to it a blessing, or ask it for something like protection or success or confidence, whatever it is, or more compassion, whatever it is. And just bring it with you. Can you put it in a pocket? Can you put it in a bra? You could put it in your underwear for all I care. I don't care. Put it under your hat. Keep it in your car. Keep it in a drawer. Put it in your sock. I don't know. There's tons and tons of ways. Another even easier, potentially stealthier way is using plant-based and scented oils. Okay. So you can make your own oils by using a safe, skin safe carrier oil like jojoba oil or avocado oil or olive oil or coconut oil, and adding essential oils to it. Okay. Always try to make sure, that you check in on the integrity of honestly all of your tools that you use in witchcraft and in life. Try to do your best to check on the integrity. You don't need to bog yourself down with saving the world all by yourself, but do try to put on essential oils that are good for your skin. Don't go buy essential oils that they sell in the candle making section of the craft store and put that on your skin. Do not do that. If you've been doing that, please don't do that anymore. Go wash your hands. That's not made and intended for skin. So God knows the ingredients that are in there. And you just don't want to put it directly on your skin, because your skin is your biggest organ and it is a giant sponge. It will just soak anything up. but there are lots and lots of places because of how popular essential oils are to get these ethically sourced safely. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to recommend. And I know you're like, God damn it, Danny, why? Because it's such a touchy subject. And no matter what essential oil brand I feel like you recommend these days, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, no matter what. And so I just really would rather encourage you to do your own research. Okay. Now, oils, anything plant scented or based, like I said, but this can even be in your food too. So, where do plants come from? Seeds. So, there's tons and tons of seeds. Seeds for snacking, seeds for seasoning, like putting sesame seeds on, hemp seeds, snacking on sunflower seeds, and then nuts are seeds, everyone. So snacking on walnuts and almonds and those are the seeds of trees, actually. And that is a wonderful grounding way to connect with plant energy as well. So you can really get creative with how you connect with that. But this grounding energy is extremely beneficial in the professional realm of magic, because when we're doing work and making money, we are directly working with the earth element. So intentionally honoring the earth in whatever way is sacred to you is very, very effective in professional and money and business magic. Okay. Which leads me into crystals. Crystals are another wonderful, wonderful way to connect with the earth element, and very, very easy grounding are crystals. Like hold a rock. Literally, you could even just like hold a regular rock, like from outside. I'm dead serious. It doesn't have to be a crystal even. You could find a beautiful, special, glittery rock, even if you live in the city or suburbs, and cleanse it, and that could be grounding for you. I'm very serious. This can be very, very accessible, quick access to grounding, which when we are working, we are also really activating the air element because we are very, very in our intellectual and mental space and mental capacities. And so having that and like really easy way to ground any and all times of the day that we need is very, very, very beneficial. So crystals, and like I said, even straight up rock, special dirt, like soil that you gather ethically and cleanse and keep at your space. That would be another wonderful way to have just bare. It's just, God, is there any better way to ground than just putting your hands in some dirt? Maybe walking in dirt. Maybe that would be a little bit better. But yeah, easy access to grounding, one of my top tips for professional magic and bringing magic into the workplace. Now, as far as actual crystals go, keep in mind this can be like tumbled or palm stones that you keep in your pocket, or we listed all the places that you can store your magical tools. So wherever you want to carry that, you could carry it. But if your space is able, you can put crystals up in a really beautiful decorative way and just have them sitting at your desk or sitting at your space, again, sitting in your car. When it comes to, if I had to recommend crystals, the list would be like endless because there are so many intentions that you could have for your professional sacred work. But some of the most common are going to be protection. So really awesome protection crystals, especially in the professional environment, would definitely be to have black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is very grounding, very protecting, but also kind of like an evil eye. It's really wonderful at warding off jealousy and envy and like negative intentions of others. But black obsidian and onyx are both also wonderful as well. And then anything clear that promotes clarity is going to be very beneficial in the workplace or workspace. I always lean to clear calcite in my clear crystals because it is very, very effective. I think almost, for me, keep in mind everyone's connection, crystals is very unique and different person to person. It seems to work and vibe the best for me versus clear quartz, but clear quartz does an absolutely wonderful job as well of promoting clarity. I also think that selenite does the same thing. And I also use clear glass. So really mindfully and spiritually cleansing the glass of your devices, any mirrors in your workplace. This is actually technically kind of a crystal work in and of itself, where it's promoting that sacred, true clarity of vision. Okay. So you can even have a special jar, and you can fill some of that jar with herbs or other crystals or objects or whatever, but you want part of that jar to stay open and clear, and it represents clarity. So and this can also house and honor the air element for you. So I have a clear glass bottle on my altar that I honor the earth element with. And especially when I'm working with specific air signs and energies astrologically. But I purposefully don't put anything in the jar. I fill it with smoke sometimes to cleanse it. And then I let the jar sit open under a certain sun or a certain moon or a certain planetary transit. And then I really sacredly seal it and consecrate it. But the point is to leave it empty and clear to promote clarity. So that's something really, really, it's so easy to find a clear glass object these days. You could bless and cleanse your glasses if you have to wear glasses. Bless your contact case. Do the exact same thing. Clarity work is so overlooked and so beneficial, especially in the workplace. Now, this kind of brings me into sigils, which is another one that I find lots and lots of beginners sleeping on. You are not doing enough symbols and sigil work. It's free. Why is it free? Because you either need a writing utensil or not. You don't even have to use a writing utensil. You can literally take your finger and draw it on any object that you want, and boom, you just put a sigil on something. I find that for certain regularly used items, it can be really beneficial to physically put the sigil or symbol on the object. So again, either using a marker or a pen, could do a sticker for yourself. If you have a label maker, so that way, anytime you use that object or item, your pen, you could put a sigil on your pen if you use a certain pen or set of pens at work all the time. This sigil could host of huge, again, the intentions here with that you do with all this magic are freaking endless. Promote creativity, again, promote truth and confidence and leadership for yourself. Promote self-advocacy, promote more harmony and compassion and peaceful interactions between you and your clients or your coworkers or anyone that you have to interact with. Okay. You can put these sigils under your keyboard, on your laptop, on your phone. There are so many places. And again, if for any reason you work somewhere or the object, you're like, I just can't physically write or put something on this, you don't have to. Just do it with your finger. I don't ever put stickers on my phone because it's like one of the only places I can't commit to. I love stickers and putting them on all kinds of things, but I can't commit to it on my phone because I don't know why, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm very particular about my phone. But I use sigil work over my phone a lot. And sometimes I don't even use my finger to draw it. Sometimes I just envision it. Sometimes I just envision my phone being like embossed or like impressioned with a pentacle or an intuitive shape or symbol that kind of comes to my mind's eye. Okay. Sigil work is so simple, insanely effective, and can be used in so many different ways. It's not even funny. So really experiment with this. You can put, and again, when I say put sigils, I mean physically or in your mind's eye, right? With energetically, on your beverages or like cups or containers. your phone or computer, your chair, your desk, wherever you sit at for the day or regularly. If you use any kind of labels for like binder tabs or files or stickers, any kind of organization system, maybe you envision each of them going on with a heart symbol on them. I don't know, to promote more love and prosperity in your work. You can incorporate special sigils and symbols in your planners and calendars. This is a game changer for me. A, it can keep you really organized. And B, it is one of the best places to infuse your magic is in your planning and organizing methods and processes, okay? Because everything else you do trickles down from that. So that's a wonderful, wonderful place to infuse your magic is in any kind of planning or organization systems that you have. All right. Now, I have to kind of address like work/office altar. I have an altar in my office, but that's because I work at home. And so I'm very lucky that I'm able to just make my desk exactly however I want. And I get to have plants and crystals and hang up whatever I want or take it down if I change my mind or have whatever wallpaper I want. You don't have to worry about if my music cusses or not or who's around. I'm very, very, very lucky and blessed for all of those, which is why, yes, if you can and are able to and you want to do an altar at your place of work, please do so. I love my work altar. It emits wonderful vibes for me throughout the day. But the reason I didn't want to focus on this too much for the episode is I think that if there's one thing I have found in this big uprising trend of witchcraft and manifestation, is this like beating everyone over the head with the altar thing. And I think that altars are important and serve an extremely sacred purpose. And I fucking love my altar. And I have a really great episode on altars on this show. Maybe I'll do an updated one soon. It was one of the very first episodes I did was the altars episode. I love them. They're very sacred, very important. But I'm going to say this, unpopular opinion, not necessary. It's not necessary. If you're not able to have an altar, that does not mean that you're an unsuccessful witch or practitioner at all. So if you can and you're able to, do it. I think they can be really fun. And there's ways to have discrete altars. In fact, here, let's just link the altars episode while I'm thinking about it. There's ways to create like really sneaky concealed travel altars that you could bring to work without anybody seeing. A lot of people make them in like mint, like Altoid tins and stuff like that. They're adorable. But again, if you want to ditch that idea altogether, please do. Your abundance and professional magic will still be just as, well, magical. Okay, now this brings me into another place that is very frequently overlooked, which is your car or your commute in general. So if you don't work from home, if your car or transportation or your commute is a regular part of your profession in any capacity, how can you bring some magic into this? So the way that I really thought about this when I was preparing for the episode, your commute really is both your launch pad and it's your landing pad. It can set you up for your day of work and profession, and it catches you at the end of your workday and your work hours. So really take this into consideration because the car or your transportation, one's commute, is so insanely personal to each and every person. Some people listen to podcasts, some people listen to music, some people don't listen to anything at all. Some people have a car, some people don't. Some people carpool. Some people ride the bus, some people ride a bike, some people walk, some people don't have to even go to work at all. So this is why I wanted to instead put it in the frame of reference. And this, again, goes for even those of us that work from home. What is your launch pad? What is your launch pad like? How do you set yourself up every day for your profession or the days that you have to engage in your profession? And what is your landing pad like? And how can you uniquely bring more personal magic into each of those, your launching pad and your landing pad for yourself? So I hang an evil eye in my car. I also have a wooden carved rune hanging in my car. And I talk to the spirit of my car all the time. She's been named, this is hilarious. So my husband and I have a Tacoma and a RAV, Toyota Tacoma and a Toyota RAV4. And we have a toddler now, so we ended up naming the cars the taco and the ravioli. So we do have the ravioli, but I also call my car Ravi, and I have called my car Ravi for, I don't know, since I got it. And it's like my dream car. It's a modest little 2015 RAV4. It's nothing like it's the base model. There's nothing upgraded about it at all. We got it used, but I wanted a little mid-size like forever probably since high school, since I could drive. And it was just never in the cards. I took my dad's car when he would get a new car, and was very, very lucky to even be able to do that because I was not saving my money to buy a car at that time. And so I was very, very blessed and privileged in that way. And so because I always wanted basically this car, this exact style and type and everything, when I finally got it, was also when I quit my full-time job for the last time and began working for myself full-time, or at least at that time, because this was in 2018, I was at least committed to doing that. It took a long time before I started actually making money for myself, but I took that plunge for myself. And I had bought this car only a couple of weeks before that. And so the Ravi means so much to me. I have such a strong bond with that car, about as strong of a bond as I have with the spirit of our home and our house here, that I definitely talked about in our home and hearth magic episode that we did. So I really, really lean into this launch pad and landing pad, because your objects and tools that you use every day, like your transportation system, they have these spirits about them. And if you can learn to understand and connect with that spirit, you can kind of nurture the relationship and create this beautiful, sacred setup for your day, and then this beautiful, beautiful, safe and enjoyable and soft landing for yourself after a long, hard day's work. So think about different ways that you can bring more magic, and honor the spirit of your commute or your transportation. Okay. Last few kind of easy things. So color magic is just an extremely effective, easy way to do magic in anything, let alone professional stuff. But wearing clothes of a certain color, accessories, your device wallpaper or your phone case, the different tools that you use. I just changed up all of my organization and planning tools that I use for studies and I use for work. I used to have them all combined in one giant binder, and I thought that was a good idea at the time. After lots of trial and error, it definitely was not, and I needed to separate them. But I separated them really mindfully, and the colors I chose for the notebook for my studies, and those kind of supplies, and the colors that I chose for the supplies, for my work planning and organization and everything, were different and had different purposes to them. And even today, when I sat down to record, like, I just felt so refreshed and so much even more excited to prepare for the episodes and to be recording with everybody, because I was just like, that's the beauty of color magic. It's just really, really simple, really, really effective, and really, really enjoyable, because you should just be using your favorites. If you're like, oh, I'm supposed to use yellow because yellow is this, but I don't really, well, find a yellow that you do like, or don't use yellow and use orange instead. The whole point of color magic is to evoke a certain kind of emotion. And if that color doesn't do that for you, then don't use it and use the colors that do. Now, I definitely want to say don't forget to incorporate food and kitchen magic as well. So take this into consideration if you pack your lunch every day, or if you make yourself lunch every day, if you go out to eat every day, whatever that is. How can you bring in some magic into what you eat and consume? Is it like color magic in the lunchware that you use? Is it doing some of that sigil work, like we said, above your food, kind of creating almost a little ritual before you eat? But this can be a really wonderful cleansing and refreshing part of your day. And it's extremely grounding. Eating is very, very grounding. So that is another very easily accessible method for grounding that we talked about. So don't overlook your meal times or your snack times as an opportunity to really bring in and personalize it with your craft. Okay. And then I want you to consider smokeless ways of cleansing. Wow, we're just linking lots of episodes, aren't we, today? Yes. Um, I I think that we get so hung up on smoke cleansing, like that's the only one that we can do. There's so many people that I talk to that are like, well, I haven't cleansed in forever because I couldn't burn anything. And I was like, why do you have to burn anything to cleanse? There are a million ways to cleanse, and burning anything does not have to be the only exclusive way. I love burning things to cleanse. I do it almost every single day. So I'm not saying I'm not knocking it at all, but don't be bound by it. Don't be held back by it by any means. So I want you to start thinking about and brainstorming for yourself some smokeless methods for cleansing. And I'm linking the cleansing 101 episode for you here, in case you need any fresh inspiration on that. Obviously, I have to tell you about astrology and moon work because it can be so transformative to your professional magic that you do. Tracking where the moon is and what it's up to, whether that's listening to Moon Day musings or downloading an app or following different astrologers on social media and listening to what they have to say about the moon transits, this can really help give you an idea of just where everybody's at, where your energy's at, people you're going to be interacting, and help you be in a way more mindful place in your professional work. Okay. And then, I'm a huge, huge, huge fan of using astrology for scheduling. Yes, I linked that episode as well. Obviously, this is for me one of the fundamental parts of my profession is using astrology for my work. And I know that for me, it seems like, well, of course, Danny, because you teach us about astrology, you have to be talking about astrology. Yeah, but I do so much more with astrology besides talk to you guys about it. I really do use it. I really do use my honeycomb almanac and my Magic of Eye planner for all of my life and work organization and planning and goal keeping and intention tracking and planning, all of it, all of it. It just keeps me in a more mindful and sacred and aligned place. So don't, obviously, you knew I was going to tell you, yes, use astrology in your planning. And then one thing that I see really overlooked are the cards. People, pull tarot. What are you doing? Pull some cards about it. This is something that I wish someone would have told me when I was in my first few years of witchcraft and magic. I was just doing tarot when I could really sit down and do this whole big, beautiful thing. And I would like create this environment and light the candles and my incense and close the door. And like I could have like 2 hours to just like learn about and explore the deck and pull cards, right? And I love doing that to this day whenever I'm able to make time for it. But what I'm talking about is there are so many times that newer practitioners come to me for advice when it comes to something that they're dealing with in their life. work conflict, relationship conflict, whatever it is. And I'm like, did you pull a card about it? Did you pull some cards about it? And so many people are like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I know, that's my job to remind you. So don't forget, if you are able to bring a tarot deck to your place of work, really awesome to keep in your desk drawer. They even make mini decks, like small, miniature size, but it's a full 78 card tarot deck. Or it could be an oracle deck if that's what you feel called to. I love having one of each. I really like asking the tarot for like guidance and insight and like real tangible, like what can I work on to move this forward, right? When I really need that good clarity. I like using my oracle decks for inspiration, a nice summary after a tarot reading, a nice end of day reflection, or a nice beginning of day intention. But use the cards more than you are. I guarantee even people using them, you're probably like, oh yeah, I could probably use more cards in my profession too. Especially those of us that use cards in our profession, sometimes we need a reminder, oh yeah, I can use that for myself, for my own business reflection. I really, really like coupling any kind of like planning, organizing, brainstorming, goal making that I'm doing by doing a tarot reading for myself and my business at the same time. When I'm struggling with imposter syndrome, when I'm struggling with maybe a client conflict, or I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough, I'm struggling with scarcity mindset around my business, all these things, pull out the cards. It is wonderfully, wonderfully illuminating. And I find tarot gives you tangible advice for moving forward when read properly for yourself. And my last thing, and maybe most important, maybe that I saved the most important for last. I didn't even do it on purpose. I wrote down orbs, dude. Orbs. You gotta use your energetic orbs, okay? Energetic boundaries. Do your real life boundaries too. We talk about that on the show all the time. Boundaries, very important. And don't forget about those energetic boundaries too. Especially if your work and profession requires you to interact with massive amounts of people. If your work requires that you do a lot of social media work, customer service interaction, if you have any kind of toxic coworker or colleague relationships that you deal with, or even with like higher up relationship toxic, like maybe corruption that you are sensing or that you're dealing with in your job, orbs, 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 orbs. Picture orbs around yourself all the time. What color is it? What's it made out of? How is it protecting you? What is it providing you with? Think about all those things, and the more effective your energetic orb will be. I have worked in places where I envisioned the orb around a whole certain area. Sometimes it was just around myself. Sometimes it needed to be around my car. I was a delivery driver back in the day. So it was protection from others because I had horrible anxiety because I was a delivery driver in the middle of our fucking downtown city here in Denver. So yeah, a lot of people forget about the orbs thing, and holy cow, do energetic boundaries make all the fucking difference in the world most of the time. Really and truly. So last episode that I'll link will be the energetic basics episodes. Basic episode, because I think that having a good understanding for the different energetic fields helps us create even more effective energetic orbs and boundaries for ourselves and others. Okay. So I'll link, there's lots of really great content in the show notes for you to kind of fall down a rabbit hole on. You can also check out thatwitchnextdoor.com/resources for lots of great additional resources. And I would also love to hear from you what you do to bring more magic into your profession, or what questions do you have? Where do you feel blocked in creating more sacredness around your profession? Okay. You can hit me up at thatwitchnextdoor.com/conjurethatwitch. And if you're in That Witch School, you know that I'm always just a DM away over there. And this was great. this was a really, really fun one. I want you to keep in mind all of the above, everything we just went over, lays the groundwork for successful abundance magic. I promise. So if you find that you've been trying to do like abundance or prosperity or success work, especially if it's to get out of a toxic job or whatever it is, try some of these things. Where can you bring more sacredness? Where can you bring more magic into your foundation? I promise you that abundance and prosperity magic will be even more effective for you when you start really infusing your intention and your craft into all of these different working parts and pieces. Okay. All right, everybody. This was a really, really fun one. Thank you so, so much for your time today and every day. I love every single one of you. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe, have fun, and stay magical out there. Hi, neighbor. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of That Witch Podcast. If you want to support the show and get your hands on some really magical goodies, make sure you check out some of the awesome companies that I'm an affiliate for in the show notes below. You can also leave a 5-star rating and review on iTunes as well as Spotify now. And really the best way to support That Witch Podcast is just by sharing the show online, like your social media platforms, or telling a friend that you think would enjoy it. If you're looking for more magical content like bonus episodes, classes I teach, and support in your witchcraft, make sure you come check us out in That Witch School, my magical monthly membership with a very welcoming private online community. And don't forget to subscribe to my email list for weekly astro forecasts, journal prompts, and more, and stay up to date with all of the happenings here in the neighborhood.